Good morning, YouTube world. My name is Joshua Kotzen, your overnight success story, and this is Alex Nosky.
Hey guys.
Alex and I have known each other for how many years?
I think like 8 or 9 years.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Okay, so a little context. How did we meet? How did we get to know each other that way? And then we can get into like all of the deep dive of all of the we'll call it spiritual or whatever you want to call it, that realm. So go ahead.
So 100%. We met through a mutual friend,
Yep.
and he introduced me to you at Paradise Valley Community College.
Yeah.
So forever ago.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say, this is Sips and Slides. Did I say that?
You have not.
I have not. This is Sips and Slides.
And
we have
slides.
our slides on and we are sipping. In my defense, I really didn't have anything else except for water, but we are drinking water. He is drinking Liquid IV, non-sponsored. So let's get into it and then we can like backtrack. So I want to ask you a few questions about your beliefs, your belief system. Then actually before we do that, let's talk about how we are working together right now. Okay, so you are a massage therapist, a licensed massage therapist.
Yes.
And what you do is outside, or excuse me, and well, hopefully I can say this. Can I say this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so you work at, where do you work right now?
I work at the Scottsdale WOA Spa.
Okay, so that's where you that's your day job.
Yes.
But outside of your day job, what you're doing is you are building your own massage therapy business.
Correct.
Called Zen Restore Massage. And I'm helping out in a capacity of giving you a space, i.e. the studio, so that way you can utilize that to bring in clients and then get more clientele, build your business.
Precisely, yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we are working together right now. Now there's a huge gap of information that I didn't say. So, and we only have about 25 minutes right now in this first part. So let's go. I don't want to rush you,
Sure.
but I really want to know I just want to know about you. I want to know who you are. I want to know just what your beliefs are. I want to know, just give me who Alex Nosky is.
Yeah, for sure. So
And you can talk to me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, don't worry about that. So,
I'm like have to look at the camera the entire time.
Yeah, so we're just having a conversation.
So basically, my father was stationed in the military when I was born. So I was born on the very luxurious, beautiful island of Keikihau, Kauai. But we moved to Washington State around Seattle area when I was like 2.5, 3 years old. So I remember nothing from there. But I basically lived in Washington my entire life up to the point I graduated high school. I graduated high school, then I came down here with my family, but for their jobs, they were being transferred down here. And my main motivation to move down here was to watch my baby sister, Madison, who at the time was only like 4 years old. I wanted to watch her grow up, and I wanted to be present there for her. And so I went through a shit ton of struggle. But eventually I met you. You introduced me to this concept of becoming a better version of yourself, the world of self-development.
Yeah.
And I basically became obsessed with the notion of becoming like the greatest version of yourself. And there's like a lot of traps and pitfalls that I fell into. Thankfully that I'm over now, but basically my mind was opened up to this book. It's called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And basically a summary of it is that some of the beliefs and ideas that you have are not actually your own, but you're living your life by them. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm living.
So whose are they?
Everyone else. Your society, your friends, your family, your parents. They basically give you an idea, give you a belief that you never question, and it becomes a part of you. It gets absorbed into the core of who you are, your identity. And you literally live life by what you were told. But the problem is with society is we're never taught to question what we're told until thankfully recently with all the events going on in the world, people are beginning to become critical thinkers and wake up and think for themselves. Basically, my belief is that beliefs are malleable, kind of like Play-Doh. They could shapeshift, they could evolve, they could change. And so my basically mission that I've kind of accomplished is to have any disempowering belief, use self-awareness, create an empowering belief, an empowering story. And basically what that does, if all my beliefs are empowering and they serve me and they are effective, then I will have an extraordinary quality of life, or I'll be on that path much sooner. It is my belief that you should really only do what benefits you or what helps you, not in like a manipulative way, but like if there is a toxic habit that does not contribute to who you are in a soul essence, like why would you do it? And I kind of have an understanding of why you would do it. Yeah, I'm just insanely optimistic and I'm very, very positive and I have my entire life. And what's crazy to me is I've always thought everyone is very similar to me until I met you and you were like, yeah, nobody is like you. So that kind of blew my mind.
There are two things that, and I really don't want to interrupt you because I really just want, like, you're so, you've taken so much time to learn all of these things and take them, put action towards them in your own life. And so whatever you say, I kind of just want to listen. But there are two things that I just want to say is that the first, you are definitely one of the most, if not the most positive person I've ever met, and I believe I will ever meet. Which is funny because whenever we would have our conversations on few and far between because I would get busy and then you would get busy and then I would get super busy, and you would tell me that you had been struggling with certain things, but you never showed it. And you were always positive. You were always like really looking like so exorbitantly, if that's a word, positive. Mm-hmm. And I love that about you. You've always been like that for years. And so that is something that I really do value in you as a friend and as just somebody who I've been around. And so the things that I kind of want to learn about is, or talk about, what are some of the things that you had been struggling with? Because from, what is it, 6 years now?
Something like that.
6, 7 years. And I see you're getting stressed already. I am curious what certain things you struggle with. Because I just want to go real deep here. Because from somebody who has taken so much time to learn about themselves, mm-hmm. about how to effectively live life. I don't know how else to say it. I'm just curious. So go ahead.
So basically, I am insanely blessed and fortunate that my parents have mostly been always able to take care of me, like financially. So I've never had to worry about really like paying rent, being evicted. And so I basically have had a really extraordinary life where my parents, both of them, they work their asses off. One time my mother, she had 3 jobs and she was always just given back to us. And I think I got a lot of my emotional intelligence and especially my empathy from my mom. She's incredible. And at the age of 12, I somehow realized of how fortunate that I was to have this roof over my head, to have all these things that other people, they did not have. My brothers, unfortunately, they went down a different path where they didn't realize it until like a decade later, mm-hmm. and then started creating a relationship with my mom way after the fact. But I basically felt, because like I was so grateful for my life, that it was kind of my obligation to be a positive force in the world.
How many siblings are there?
So I have 2 older brothers, mm-hmm. an older stepbrother, and a younger half-sister who I just straight up consider my sister. She's incredible. But basically, I'm like, I have such an amazing life. Like, I kind of don't have a reason to complain or to be stressed.
I do want to say thank you for being honest about the fact that you are like that your parents have been, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have that, and I've told you this in previous conversations. I am glad that you have been afforded, I don't know if there's a right way to say it, but you've been afforded this blessing of being able to be financially stable by the blessing of your parents. You know,
Yes.
I personally didn't have that,
Right.
and so whenever I see that in you, I'm not jealous or anything like that, but I am grateful that you are able to
Recognize it.
thank you, recognize it. And and the other part of that is because like most, there are a few. There's a small group of people who have what I consider a luxury that you have, and they don't recognize it, and it turns them the opposite way. So a lot of people don't see how fortunate they are,
Yeah.
and then they just go down this like ugly rabbit hole. So I did want to say that it's refreshing that you can see and you can appreciate what you have.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so keep going.
Cool. So basically, I have this really amazing life. My parents are like super wealthy, but they're wealthy enough to give me like a really fantastic life. Basically, I'm like, my life is so amazing. I don't have a reason to complain. There's no possible reason why I could be stressed.
Yeah.
So I basically, I live.
Which is perfectly fitting for a massage therapist.
Yeah. Basically, what happened is I was stressed unknowingly my entire life. I consciously could not recognize that I was stressed.
Interesting.
So this, I think you said it before, inordinate or
Exorbitant.
exorbitant, yeah.
If that's a word, I hope that's a word.
Amount of chronic stress basically accumulated into my system where I had a traumatic episode. Thankfully, I was okay. But all this chronic stress basically gave me an autoimmune disease.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And I also thought that I could have leukemia because there was too many white blood cells in my body.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is it's usually with communication and not expressing myself because I have like this belief that I have social anxiety. And so basically that like limits me.
Which, by the way, you have been doing better.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it's basically I've missed out on like countless opportunities. I'd probably definitely be married now or been into like a ton of relationships since I moved here.
Yeah.
But I've always struggled communicating basically how I feel because I've had these limiting beliefs. So I wasn't expressing how I was feeling.
Yeah.
So unknowingly, I was completely stressed, completely unbeknownst to me. And short-term stress is really okay for your body. Long-term stress, it basically gets stored in your blood, in your nerves, in your fascia, which is this connective tissue wrapped around all the muscles in your body. So basically, I thought I wasn't stressed. My body was on the brink of collapse. And then I went down this 2.5-year just health decline where I legitimately thought, and even my coworkers thought, that I was dying. And basically I reached this such a low that I made a commitment to myself that I will never be here ever again. So I'm going to take my health incredibly seriously. I'm going to optimize it, and I'm going to learn whatever it takes to optimize my health. Thankfully, I'm incredibly open-minded. So
That was really funny how you said that.
so like I love neuroscience. I love learning about the brain. I love basically optimizing who you are, like in all aspects and capacities. So basically, I thought I couldn't be stressed. I was incredibly stressed. I had this very dark time in my life, and thankfully I've risen above it. And what's crazy is like, it was definitely the most traumatic experience in my entire life. And to get clear about trauma, we think of trauma as you get in a car accident and both of your legs get crushed, this insanely just tragic thing. Trauma could be that you were called stupid when you were in 3rd grade, but you didn't remember it. It's anything that you choose to repress or suppress. and it gets stored within your body. Now I'm incredibly envious of, and I admire the hell out of you because you somehow have this capacity to always say and speak exactly what's on your mind. Like my brain's usually overanalyzing everything like incredibly. And then like your brain, and it's not an insult, but there's nothing going on. You're like in this constant flow state where everything is ease and effortless. And it's like something I've been attempting to replicate or have a semblance of my entire life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Something that just popped into my head right now as you were saying that, and it's so funny. So like, I know they don't know this, but like, you know, we know this and everything. Every time we have a conversation, I feel like I have an epiphany every single time we have a conversation, and then that opens up another door to like more questions, right? So whenever you said flow state, I was talking to, I don't remember who I was talking to a couple days ago about questioning whether is there so much processing that I can't feel it, or that I can't, like, is there so much in my mind that is processing, or is there nothing that's processing? And so I think the answer was both, like nothing and everything.
Yeah.
And whenever you said that, what the oh my gosh, what is it called? The image that was put into my head was water, and the reason why it was like a flowing river, right? Mm-hmm. And so if a thought comes in, then it comes out.
Yeah.
And then that way there's no blockage. That's kind of what that epiphany was whenever you just said that. So I found that very interesting that so maybe there is a lot processing, but there's also a lot of input and there's a lot of output. I don't know a better word for it, right. But you and I have had so many conversations about this one topic, and yes. I am, whenever you say that, first of all, thank you for being so kind, because you don't have to, and I really don't even see myself like that. But whenever you say you are trying to replicate that, so we've had this conversation before. Mm-hmm. What is it that you audit me? Okay,
sure.
What is it that you see that I do that either you or other people don't do? Because, and full disclosure, I have, so he and I, at a certain point, I'm not letting him leave my life for anything. He and I are going to be working on a program because what comes natural to me, we'll put a pin on it, because it's not going to be this month, or maybe not even this year, yeah. But we're going to be working towards something, because what comes natural to me might not, and what you're saying mm-hmm. is it doesn't come natural to most people.
Right.
So I guess I'll go back to it. What is it that you see that I do that I do that you and other people don't do, in terms of like the way that I communicate or whatever?
So I may struggle articulating this. It's that...
Don't worry, I've been struggling articulating this whole thing.
So you just communicate exactly how you feel in the moment. So, for instance, I had one time, I was working on a client. I want to go above and beyond. I basically want to give them their best experience possible.
For sure.
Not just through my massage, which I'm very confident in, but also like in a conversation. I want to make it memorable.
Yeah.
And so I really struggled communicating and relating to somebody who was a mom. She had 3 kids, and that's all she does. Meanwhile, I'm like not a self-care junkie, mm-hmm. but self-care is one of my like highest priorities
Okay.
because I firmly believe
Self-care junkie.
yeah,
Okay.
that I firmly believe you cannot give from an empty cup. Most
100%.
people are dehydrated. They're sleep deprived. They don't work out. They're chronically stressed. They take care of everyone else. Now, what I've learned the hard way, because I was a people pleaser for many years, and it's not a habit that goes away immediately, is that usually what happens when you try to take care of all the world's burdens and you put that on yourself, like if you don't want your friends to be sad, and so basically you're the person that resolves everything, whatever you're giving is usually shit. Just genuinely. If you don't take care of yourself, you're giving away from like half of the capacity that you could be at. It's like people don't understand, and it's okay that people don't understand, but it's okay to be selfish for yourself because it's a paradox, but it also helps everyone around you. If you're in a better mood and if you're better physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that, it's going to radiate to others. You'll make probably people's day more often, and it'll just like, it's embodying who you are. Like self-care is so critical.
So then for self-care, because you're a self-care junkie,
Yeah.
what? That was so funny. I've never heard that before.
I've never said it.
You heard it here, folks.
True.
So what? There's so much in this category, right?
Yeah.
What is the most important that you believe right now is the most important of all of the thousands of things in self-care?
I'm actually so glad you asked. So I tell my clients this. I even tell my friends this.
Oh, okay.
99.9% of everyone in our society, definitely you most likely watching this right now, you are chronically stressed, you are chronically overworked, and then at the end of your day, you're chronically overstimulated with either TV or TikTok. You never give your body or your brain a chance to wind down.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing that you could do is just take a moment to be still.
To be still.
To be still.
I heard steel.
Got you. Real still. And not do anything because we're so used to go, 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 go. We wake up, we look at our phone, we look at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, our email or whatever. We don't give our body an opportunity to get back to homeostasis, to balance. Imagine how much more effective you could be in life if you weren't chronically stressed. Like you were more mentally resilient. You had a greater capacity of your understanding and your knowledge and your brain to deal with stress, to perhaps flip the perspective on what stress is, that there's good stress and there's bad stress. Like changing your perspective on something literally changes how your body and how your brain processes it, and that's how you experience reality. So basically you have a thought that could be disempowering or empowering. Let's say it's empowering. So you have a thought that leads to a really good feeling, and then you experience that. Most people have a disempowering thought. They have a negative thought that leads to feeling really shitty, and that leads to either inaction, complaining, or perpetuating how they're a victim. And many people, they probably don't want to recognize they're a victim. Unfortunately, I was a victim for 2.5 years to something that really destroyed me inside, and that I didn't allow myself to forgive that person until very recently. But by you taking responsibility 100% of everything that's going on, you're no longer a victim. Like if somebody does you wrong, it's so important for forgiveness. Maybe not to forgive them, but for you to forgive yourself for how you feel the emotional involvement. So basically, there was somebody that I resented until very recently where I did like this forgiveness meditation.
Yeah.
It was an hour and a half long guided forgiveness meditation.
Wow.
And basically, it's that people, it's like this universal principle. They operate, it kind of sucks, but they operate out of a space of fear, of ignorance, of lack of consciousness, of a place of wanting to feel loved and weakness. Those 5 things. And so basically, you're an hour into it, and it's like, all right, this person, whoever they were, they hurt you because this is what they were experiencing and feeling. These 5 things, these 5 universal truths. Now, when in your own life have you ever, and it sucks, have
Felt
you
those
ever
things.
hurt yourself
Oh, okay.
or hurt someone else because you were weak, because you were
there.
fear, because you were ignorant? When have you ever wanted to go up and talk to somebody because you felt like it's the right thing to do, but you didn't feel like you had the capacity of it? You didn't feel like you were worthy. Like, it's insane. And so basically, it's that to forgive him is to really to forgive yourself. And I can tell you from personal experience, probably the sooner the better, because I felt so liberated and good and the best I felt in years after letting go of all of that trauma. I thought that letting go of trauma would be this visceral reaction, that my body would start shaking, it would become numb, that I'd have heart palpitations, that I would start
Sickness or
sweating
something like that, yeah.
profusely, something terrifying. No. I teared up a little bit, but it was like this very peaceful release.
It's a good word.
And I'm very grateful that I did it. Like, you don't have to forgive the person, but you have to forgive yourself. As crazy as that sounds.
That's, yeah. Okay, so, and let me just say, you are the first person to have given me the opportunity to do breath work. Is it breath work meditation? Or is it just called breath work?
So basically, they're 2 different things. I'm not exactly sure how to define them. I believe that meditation, basically, it's not quieting your mind. It's not silencing your thoughts. It's basically visualizing and treating any thought as a cloud that passes through you. And your goal or your objective is to have this thought, is to have this cloud pass by without giving it any judgment. Because what I learned the really hard way is whenever you have a thought and you judge you ever have a thought, it's basically is judging yourself. You judging anything else, anyone else, is you judging yourself. If you have a fear that someone is judging you, very real fear, because I have it, it's you judging yourself. So treat it as a cloud passing by. Don't assign any meaning to it and just let it go with acceptance and no resistance. That's meditation. Breath work, it's more physiological, it's more biological. It's basically so you have the sympathetic nervous system.
Sure.
So basically, breath work, it's a more physical experience. It's more physiological. It's more biological.
Okay.
It's tapping into the balance of like your soul. You have the sympathetic nervous system in your body right now that is fight or flight. Most people chronically are in fight or flight. They just don't realize it. That kind of sucks for them. And then you have the parasympathetic, which is rest or digest.
Okay.
You want to be in rest or digest because that's calm.
Okay.
The other one is pandemonium.
Okay.
So you're accessing this calm system. Is basically you're able to balance your body more physically and holistically. Like, I don't remember the science on it, but basically it lowers your blood pressure if you have high blood pressure. I don't know how, but like it strengthens your blood and it has a bunch of other scientifically proven benefits.
Really?
Yeah, breathwork is incredible. It's also a way to release very deep trauma, as you've told me before.
Oh yeah. The not the first time, because there was somebody who was snoring during that experience, and I'll be honest, like it just wasn't what I thought. But the second time that I did breath work, and I don't think that was with you, unfortunately, but I had done it with just some, I don't know what the...
Emily?
Emily, but like with, his name was Kevin, and
Okay, yeah.
just some other guy.
Right.
Who was like running the show. I don't know what he's called. Like
Sure, but anyways.
yeah, sorry. He, or in that experience, I cried and I let go of a lot of emotional baggage, pain, things that, it was wild, and I do recommend it. I personally don't do it enough, and I feel like it does help to get you back to homeostasis. I'm just remembering that because you said that earlier.
Yeah.
What is, we're definitely going to have to do a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 7 because you are like, this is probably the first podcast that I am not interrupting just because I'm so interested. I don't know a lot of this, and so I'm just so curious. Even though we talk a lot, you're just so knowledgeable about all of this. So, if I were to ask you, because we didn't even get into like any of like,
we didn't get into
I
anything
know,
really.
I know. No, I mean this was very good. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know any of this.
But nothing like super deep.
Yeah, which is fine. This is a good introduction to Alex Nosky, the licensed massage therapist who does massage therapy either at the studio or anywhere in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area.
And not to interrupt
Arizona.
you about what you're about to say.
Yeah.
Something you've helped me understand quite recently is that, and for those who know me who are watching this is going to make a lot of sense after I say it. So most people, I believe they have like 6,000 thoughts a day, and 85 to 90% of those thoughts are negative. I have been able to engineer in my own life where 85 to 90% of my thoughts are positive.
Damn.
And so, how do I say this? When I try to connect with someone, I am so abysmal with surface level conversation. I suck at it because I just can't be really interested in it. I care so much about like humanity. Like, how do I say this? Like me asking what inspired you to pursue your passion or your career, for me, I would label it like a 2 or a 3. And then you would label that like a 10 for most people. Like you have to establish rapport, you have to go through small talk, and then after they're feeling open and vulnerable enough,
Then you go into the
that.
stuff.
My brain works the opposite. I am so curious and fascinated by everyone. Like, I just love having deep, intimate talks with people because I want to know about you. And then a part of me that's so fulfilling is the reason I love optimizing myself isn't just for my health and mental well-being, but it's because I genuinely care so much about people that I want to give them value and love. And so it's like I also learn these things so I can share them with others.
I don't have anything else to say. This was seriously, this was really, really good.
Thank you.
Whenever we get back together, like I'd like to talk to you about more about your history, your mental health, like just things. Actually, you know what? We have a couple minutes.
Sure.
I'm it's so funny because I'm kind of interviewing you here, and that's essentially what I wanted to do. But what questions do you have for me?
Yeah, so basically, I'm really good at noticing and observing like what causes self-sabotage. And so basically we've discussed before that the way your mind works and processes, either you can only do one thing or you could do 50 things. And I'm basically like, that's fucking stupid. Just do one more thing every day. And by like a month, you'll have 30 things complete.
Yeah.
But recently what you've told me is you've unlocked this new version of yourself where before you would feel shame when communicating and conveying. They're like, hey, this is just the way my mind works. And everyone's like, only do just one thing at a time. Multitasking is not effective. But then you've been able to harness this part of yourself where you're getting a lot more done, a lot more efficiently and effectively. And I'm curious about that.
Okay, so that, yeah, because, I did. I called him like right after I realized this. So let me, I'll try and remember exactly what I told you. Let's open up that folder in my head. Ever since you and I met, which was Paradise Valley Community College.
Yes. I'm going to say near the end of 2013.
Okay, 2013, we'll call it 2014.
Sure.
To 2022. 2019. Wait, 2019.
Yeah.
I had, we'll call that part one of a 3-series evolution in my mental evolution, I guess we'll call it that. So 2014 and 2019, I felt like I unlocked my potential to go really, really fast and process a lot of knowledge and emotion and whatever the mental faculties are.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going anywhere. So I was going really, really fast, nowhere. Then 2019 to 2000. I called it 2020 2 days ago, but 2022, we'll call it, middle 2022. This was what, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
What's today? It's September
23rd?
September 22nd, Thursday, September 22nd. So a week and a half ago, I had called you. And so 2019 to a week and a half ago, that period of time, I gave into the notion that I should slow down and I should really think about things and do one thing at a time. And I'm exaggerating when I say this, but I felt as if I was getting nothing done. It felt like that flow state we were talking about in the beginning, the river, there was rocks in that river. There was a freaking log in that river. And so that period of time, we'll call that part 2 of the evolutionary series, the 3-part, where it was important for me to start getting things out of my life. So I don't attribute that to any negative thing, but I believe that it was necessary for me to take certain things out of my life, learn what was important, and but I was going so slow that I didn't feel like I was doing anything.
Right.
About 2 weeks ago, I realized it was, and coincidentally, it was a TikTok that I saw that I had never seen anyone who had ADHD explain, or ADHD or ADD or ADHD, explain how they feel, explain how they think. I just don't have that many friends. One of the reasons why I believe that social media is positive in this regard is that you can communicate and you can have community where there are people all over the world, and I don't know where this person was, where this female was, but she thought and felt the same way that I did. And so when I saw that, something clicked in my head. That's why I called you right afterwards. Something clicked in my head, and I said, okay, well, instead of going so fast but having no end result in mind, and instead of just going so slow that I feel like I'm getting nothing done because it's hurting me inside.
Right.
Well, if I have all this energy and now I kind of have a direction and I know where I'm going, and like I have a semblance of what my purpose is supposed to be.
You can wield it like a lightsaber.
I can wield it like a lightsaber. I didn't know you were going to say that. I decided, okay, well, why don't I just lean in to those things? I have so much energy. I do certain things. I biohacked myself to operate as optimally as possible in my physical form. And that gives me so much energy. Plus, I have the energy that I have naturally. So I'll use all of that energy, and then I will also put it behind a goal or an idea of where to go. And all of a sudden, I was just speeding through everything. It was the craziest thing. Now, it doesn't make any sense. It was like, and whenever when I called him, it didn't make sense to him either.
No.
And because it just doesn't. What I told him was, I have a sink full of dishes.
Yep.
I have photo editing to do. I'm a photographer, videographer. We've talked about this before, but hi. I had editing to do. I had photo editing to do. I had video editing to do. I had to sweep up the floor. I had laundry. And so in that one day, what would usually take me 2 weeks to do took me 45 minutes to about an hour. And that was, and I don't know where it came from, but it was the fact that, and this is where going all the way back to what you were saying, I had always, no matter what institution I was in, whether it was the church, whether it was school, whether it was work, whether it was family, or whether it was past relationships, I had always, they had always tried to teach me that doing one thing at a time was the appropriate thing to do. And my brain just doesn't work like that, it seems like. And so whenever I leaned into it, I cleaned a few dishes. I went over to the office and I edited a few photos. Then I came back and I sweeped. And then I put a load of laundry in. And then I came back and cleaned a couple more dishes. And then I went back and edited some video. Then I went back and did some more dishes. And then I sweeped a little bit more, or I did some 409 cleaning.
Yeah.
All of that in like an hour span. And that was at my at max, not max capacity. It was like as if if I could work at 100%, that was 100%. Now, I don't do that all the time. I feel like I can do that all the time, but I don't do that all the time.
Yeah.
Especially with like new things that are changing and emotional things, financial things, like this roller coaster. But whenever I am in a flow state, whenever I am able to juggle all of these things, and I can confidently know where my time is going, then I will lean in, and this is the punchline, I will not feel bad about how my brain works, because season 1 and season 2 of Joshua's evolution of his mind, I always felt bad because everyone else told me that I wasn't doing it correctly.
Yeah.
Now, it's not that I'm not going to listen to them, but it's that this is my brain. I get to choose how I feel about how I think. I feel, wow, I'm not going to restate that. We'll rewind that. I get to choose how I feel about how I think. Oh, Jesus. And it's just very exciting to then be in this third phase of my evolution, my mental evolution, because it's unlocked something. Yeah. And I don't know how else to say it. I'm just excited about where I'm going, because phase 4. Oh, I can't wait for phase 4. But right now, I'm just happy with where I'm at, because it's been such a long time. That was a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you remembering that from the conversation that we had before.
Of course, definitely, man.
Okay, we'll end it right here, and then I'm gonna have you come back on for like a longer one.
I'm down.
Okay, cool. So thank you everybody for watching. Still don't know how to end this thing. I hope you all have a great day. My name is Joshua Kotzen, your overnight success story. This is Alex Nosky, licensed massage therapist, and my friend and partner. I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Peace.